Hey everyone, it's Tolly Carr in Atlanta. NFL draft weekend is upon us. Things kick off on Thursday night. We've been talking about it all season long, ever since last year's draft when no HBCU player was drafted. Will this be the year that not only one, but multiple players are drafted into the NFL and pro football? Well, we have some contenders this year that we feel pretty good about. We're going to take a look at some of these student athletes. It's not an all-inclusive list, okay? But we've had several players come across our camera lenses across the past few seasons, and now we are going to let their stars shine on what could be the biggest weekend of their playing career so far. I'm going to tag team, bring in my man Wally Pitt. He's our master storyteller here at HBCU Game Day, and we're going to get things started with Joshua Williams from Fayetteville State University.
But the HBCU player that the experts expect to come off the board first is a Fayetteville State Bronco named Josh Williams out of the CIAA, a Division II HBCU conference. NFL size plus a strong showing at the Combine and Senior Bowl has the 6'3" cornerback's name ringing bells in NFL war rooms.
Deep downfield into coverage and picked off by Joshua Williams. Where Williams has been involved with a lot of plays today.
They've thrown at him all afternoon in different ways.
But for Josh Williams, all he's worried about is locking down who's in front of him.
There's not one thing I can't do. I feel like I can play all in zone coverage. I feel like I can play press up in man coverage. I can, play off in man coverage too. So.
Our Simone Stanley does a great job with going one-on-one with these kids. I mean, she hits them on IG and bam, before you know it, there's a Zoom call with Simone. She had a chance to talk to Joshua Williams earlier, back in 2021. Let's learn more about what makes him tick.
Hello, everyone. I'm Simone Stanley here with HBCU Game Day. And today I'm super excited to be joined by Fayetteville State University Bronco and a 2022 NFL draft prospect, Joshua Williams. Josh, thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
First of all, let me not be rude. Can I call you Josh or Joshua?
Yeah, that's fine. That's great right there. Josh.
Okay, I was like, let me make sure it's fine. I'm calling you Josh. So you recently competed in the Reese Senior Bowl. Huge congratulations on that. What do you think was your biggest takeaway from the Senior Bowl?
It was a great experience. Learned a lot from my coaching staff. From a competitive standpoint, it was a great learning experience. My biggest takeaway was, what I already figured. I felt like I could have played with the best of the best and compete at a high level. So, and I think I did and proved it. So, that was probably my biggest takeaway from the week.
That's awesome. So what part of your game, going into the Senior Bowl week, you guys had a lot of practices and then, of course, the showcase game. What aspect of your game were you focused on showing off to the scouts?
As a whole, I was just trying to, show that I can keep up with that level of competition and, some of the questions they had about competition, but, just trying to show off, press man, that my speed, because I guess that was a question too. And, just things like that. So, things that I always felt comfortable with doing, just, showcasing it at the Senior Bowl was, my main goal.
And you definitely feel like you accomplished that. I've seen a lot of your highlights floating around Twitter, so I definitely think you accomplished those things.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think I did too, but there's always stuff to work on. Like I said, it was a learning experience, and I'm blessed to have been there. So.
Of course. So you were there, and it was one other HBCU player that was represented as well at the Senior Bowl. How do you feel being like one of the only two HBCU players represented on such a big stage? Is it like a pressure, pride, mix of both?
Not really any pressure, more so pride. I felt comfortable there. There didn't feel like too much pressure was being put on me. I had the support from my HBCU and tons of other HBCUs. Around the nation, people just wishing me luck, stuff like that. And I feel like it's just shedding a light on HBCUs. We have talent. We have a lot of good players. And I'm sure there's more players that could have competed in the recent Senior Bowl. But I feel like in the future, that's something that'll change.
Definitely has to change for sure. And guys like you are, paving the way for those to come next. So you have the HBCU, not the HBCU, you have the NFL Combine coming up next. So after the Senior Bowl, what part of your game are you focused on working on the most between that time?
Just cleaning up my technique, making sure everything is in tip-top shape for when I am at the Combine. I'm still training, of course, for my 40 and everything. And I'm sure, I'll go out there and put on a great display, but just trying to make sure everything as a whole is good, making sure I'm running fast, jumping high, but also doing well in my positional drills. So, yeah.
Okay. So we're going to be looking out for that in a couple of weeks. So this 2022 draft is happening in April. It's a very defensive heavy draft. How do you feel like you stand out amongst the defensive prospects?
Well, with the DBs in particular, I like my skill set. I like myself against anybody, honestly, but that's just, me. There's a lot of great players. Of course, even particularly to go higher than I am. And, I can respect that, they did what they had to do to get in that position. But I feel like with myself, I'm a tall, athletic corner. I feel like I can cover well. I tackle. I try to just be versatile with my game as a whole. So hopefully, the scouts are seeing that and they make the right decision.
I'm sure they're gonna make the right decision. So you had a very decorated career at Fayetteville State University. How do you feel that program prepared you to go on and be a professional football player?
All right. Well, Coach Hayes, that was my head coach. He brought in a great coaching staff. All the years I was there, there was great men around me. In general, they don't just care about you as a player. They want you to mature as a man and be able to do things as an adult and basically leading up into being a professional, whether that be on the field or off the field. Being a professional, being on time to your job, being accountable for your actions, just things like that. And they definitely do a good job with holding you to that standard and getting you prepared to be an adult.
That's awesome. So already getting you the professional aspect of the game and not just the on-field aspect of the game.
Right.
So what part of your game do you think would translate instantly from the collegiate level to the NFL level?
Well, instantly would probably just be athleticism, just because that doesn't really go away. Wherever you go, you're always gonna have speed and be able to jump high. As long as you're healthy. But that's God given, and that's not something I'm trying to rely on. I want to be technically sound. I want to know my playbook. Know my assignments, know what the offense is trying to do, and of course that'll take time and film study. Getting around the coaches, veterans, and whatever, and just becoming a better, smarter football player.
Of course. So we talked earlier about your versatility, and you think that's one of the biggest aspects of your game. Being a defensive back, I know you guys move all over the place on the collegiate level, especially in the pros. Where do you see yourself lining up? Whether it be outside corner, slot, safety, where do you see yourself lining up as a defensive back in the NFL?
Well, a lot of the conversation has been, outside corner, but I'll play anywhere. I'll play anywhere on the football field, as long as I'm, doing what I get to, what I love doing, which is playing football. I'm happy. So, if they want me to play nickel, free, I don't care, as long as I'm playing football.
As long as you out there on the field, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
So what kind of defensive scheme does Joshua Williams thrive in?
Well, at Fayetteville State, we just ran like a traditional 4-2-5. We did a lot of cover 3, cover 4, a lot of man. So, I think we're versatile. There's not one thing I can't do. I feel like I can play off in zone coverage. I feel like I can press up in man coverage. I can, play off in man coverage too. So I feel like whatever a team needs, I'll be able to, fulfill those needs. So.
You can do it all. That's what I'm getting from you.
Well, I try to. You know, I try to.
You're gonna do what you need to do to learn how to do it all, even if you're new to it.
There you go.
There you go. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, Josh, were you a fan of any team growing up, NFL wise?
My family was a Washington fan. You know, so I grew up watching Sean Taylor and a lot of those guys. Right now, you know, I don't have a team. I'll play for any team. But you know, growing up, everybody has a team, and that was my team and my family's team.
Okay. So you already know, like, I know you see the Eagles back there. So
yeah. You know, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But you say you're not a Commanders fan anymore, so we good. We're good.
Right.
Unless things change in April, but we'll leave that there.
I got you.
So lastly, do you have any NFL comparisons, or is there any guys in the pros when you were growing up or even in college, like taking pieces of their game from, modeling your play style after?
You know, growing up, I watched a lot of players. I was a big Darrelle Revis fan, Ed Reed, Sean Taylor. But, you know, now I just watch, you know, football. There's a lot of great corners in the league. And, you know, I don't try to model myself after any one person. Just try to take all the good aspects of a player and just try to see if I can apply that to myself. You know, Jalen Ramsey is a great corner, Xavier Howard, Stephon Gilmore, J.C. Jackson, Trayvon Diggs. There's plenty of corners, you know, you name them. And, you know, just try to look at them, pick them apart, and see if I can add anything to my game from them. So
that's amazing. The film studying the greats to become the next great. I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Josh, I appreciate you taking the time to hop on here and sharing us your experience with the Senior Bowl and then everything you're looking out for and working towards for April.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for allowing me to come up here and speak about it.
Of course. Well, guys, I'm Simone Stanley. This is HBCU Game Day. We're joined today by Joshua Williams. He is a former Fayetteville State University Bronco. Well, he's a forever Bronco. He's a Bronco forever, but now he's matriculated on to the 2022 NFL Draft, out here representing all the HBCUs on some of these biggest stages. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Simone. There's a lot of people that think that Josh will be the first HBCU player to get that big phone call. Hello, this weekend with the NFL Draft. Another guy that's high on everyone's list, Marquise Bell from FAMU. Now, he's a safety. He can hit hard, but he showed during offseason workouts at the Combine that he is also fast.
For FAMU safety Marquise Bell,
dedicated crib, man. Whole time.
A 4.4 40 and the fifth best vertical among safeties at the Combine, has the Rattler defensive back's name racing up NFL draft boards.
Sanders looking to the right, and he's brought down. Didn't feel it at all as Marquise Bell.
And his message after Pro Day is that HBCU football can no longer be ignored.
We bringing the change to HBCU. You know, they're not overlooking us no more. So the fact that we can be a part of that change is amazing.
Picked off. And it's Marquise Bell, once again, his second pick of the afternoon.
Now, if put on for your city was a person, it would be Jacoby Durant, the cornerback from South Carolina State University. He wears it on his chest. He is proud. He is from Lamar, South Carolina. Could he be soon coming to a city near you this fall?
And speaking of lockdown, it's always bait in the water for the big shark, Jacoby Durant.
Pass is deflected, tipped up in the air, intercepted by the Bulldogs.
The Celebration Bowl champion South Carolina State Bulldog is up next in a long lineage of HBCU NFL greats to come out of Orangeburg. And while he may be considered undersized by league standards, it ain't nothing like when Jacoby Durant puts on that hard hat and goes to work.
Blitz off the corner. They sack Sanders. They plant him on the sack by Durant.
From 3 interceptions in one half in the unofficial MEAC SWAC Spring Challenge.
Picked off again. That was an errant pass. And guess what? Second time in this game, Jacoby Durant with the pick, and that time just a beautiful anticipation by Durant.
To 2 picks against a top 10 Clemson team in the fall.
Outstanding play by guess who? Jacoby Durant, who has been everywhere tonight.
A 4.38 40 time along with a strong pro day has Durant projected as a day 3 pick who should outplay his draft position.
James Houston IV, Jackson State University, the I love. Oh, yeah, he's been all in the headlines this season. Look, he was a good player at Florida, but a lot of us in the HBCU universe, really didn't know who the guy was. He was a late transfer to Jackson State, and man, when he got there, Houston, we have a problem.
For James Houston at Jackson State.
Under pressure, he throws it down. It's an incompleted pass.
You hear coaches talking about his motor just runs.
He was baptized by blood into HBCU football at the Orange Blossom Classic.
First game in the SWAC with Jackson State. I love it. Ain't nothing like this. Ain't never been part of nothing like this, man. There's a couple war wounds, but we going back on the bus victorious.
And proved that the SWAC got just as much juice as the SEC. As the Florida transfer not only shined on the field.
James Houston, guys,
a.k.a. The Problem. Remember the name because he's got game.
But he exuded with the glow of the HBCU experience during Jackson State's historic first fall under Coach Prime.
We done sweat the whole SWAC at the home field, man. It's a great feeling, dog. And had 60,000 in here, dog. That's the problem. Hey, man. The problem. I want to be nowhere else, dog. It's a place to come, man. Jackson State, let's go.
And after some impressive pro day numbers combined with good showings in the NFLPA Bowl and the East-West Shrine Game, you should expect to see Mr. Houston coming off the edge for one of your favorite NFL teams real soon.
Now, as we told you earlier, Simone Stanley understands the assignment every week here at HBCU Game Day. Before James Houston landed in Jackson, he went one-on-one with Simone. Let's go back and revisit that conversation. Now, when you listen to it today, after seeing everything that he did, this conversation was kind of prophetic.
Hello, everyone. I'm Simone Stanley, now joined by James Houston IV. James is an incoming linebacker for the Jackson State Tigers and now a former Florida Gator. James, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you as well. It's nice being here.
So, James, when did you know it was time for you to move on from the Gators program?
So I entered the portal in January, not too long after our last game. After the last game in the Cotton Bowl, I kind of talked it over with my parents and wanted to see what my future career looked like. And I felt like it was best that I step away from Florida. I had been there 4 years, so I kind of felt like it was my time. I earned my degree. And so I felt like it was time to move on to something different, a new experience, new environment, and kind of test my skills again and see where I'm at and try to get to that next level.
And what other programs were you considering besides Jackson State?
So I had took visits and received offers from schools like Liberty, West Virginia, Miami, Mizzou, and Jackson State, FAMU, Tennessee State.
So you picked Jackson State over 2 other HBCU programs. I know you said before it was time to put on for the HBCUs, but why Jackson State over FAMU and the other programs you got an offer from?
Jackson State, they have a very rich tradition. They've had great players that's come through here and represented the school, and I want to do the same thing. I want to represent the school in a great way and just kind of put on for the school, put them on the map more than they already are. Coach Deion's here, and he's starting to take things over, try to move things into a new light, and have that different perspective on HBCUs and Jackson State specifically.
And now you're down there at Jackson. What was your first impression of Coach Prime? What's your first impression of the Jackson State University football program as a whole?
So my first impression of Coach Prime, everybody know that's prime time. So he definitely fill out that name. He got the swag, you know what I'm saying, and he doing it. He do everything that he say. If he say it, he gonna make it happen. And you can only respect somebody like that. So Coach Prime, great dude, great coach. Wish he would have coached the defense a little bit more. He's more of an offensive coach, but he's a great coach. Jackson State, I've loved it so far. I've been here a week. The people are great. Coaches are great. Just kind of getting acclimated to my new environment, and I think it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be cool. We're gonna dominate on the field, and we're gonna have some fun off the field as well.
Definitely, you were a guy that definitely dominated at Florida. Now that you're coming into Jackson, how do you think you'll be able to have an instant impact on that Jackson State defense?
So I feel with my experience, especially in the SEC, I've experienced a lot of different things on the field, within my team, against other teams, and things like that. So I really just feel like my experience at that level is going to help everybody on the team here. I could provide information of what I've seen and help even help the coaches and give them that perspective as well, especially from a player's perspective. So I feel like just my experience in all would be what helps the team a lot.
And you think you'll definitely be able to come in and be a leader, especially coming in as a grad student?
Exactly. And so I'll be coming in as a leader, trying to lead the defense, trying to lead the team to where I know where Dion wants to take it. I know what the standard is for top-tier teams, and I know what you got to bring. I know what you got to bring every day to practice, to the weight room, to the meeting room, to everything. So I look forward to instilling that in my team and, going out there and showing it off.
And how do you think Jackson State can help you get to the next level that you're trying to get to? And what part of your game do you think needs the most fine-tuning before you're ready to hit the next level?
So Jackson State, their coaches have been very well experienced in the league. A lot of them have played college ball. So they understand the player's perspective and they understand everything that goes into it. I think the coaches, especially Dion, they know what it takes to get to that level, and they're not going to let anybody slack or not hold that standard to where he knows where the place needs to get. So that's really why I chose Jackson. I felt like they could take me to that next level. They had the coaches there to instill the right things in me. So when I get to the next level, I know exactly what's coming. I know exactly what I need to do.
Yeah, go ahead.
I forgot the last question, but you can keep going.
No, I was saying like what you were looking to fine-tune the most before you got to the next level.
So a lot of people say, because I'm an SEC guy, middle linebacker, I'm pretty good. They say I like to fill the hole. And so they kind of have a little skepticism on my pass coverage abilities. Me personally, I feel like they're great, but I know there's always room for improvement to get better. And so I would say that's probably what I need to work on the most. Probably get a couple picks this year. So I think that will help.
Definitely. And you talk about coming from the SEC. What do you think about the competition in the SWAC? Have you scouted some teams already, scouted some players, some matchups you're excited about?
Yeah, so I scouted a couple teams. FAMU, our first game, should be a pretty good game. They were pretty good last year. So I think that would be a good one down at the Hard Rock. The next game, Alabama State. I know they have a good couple players there too, as well as Grambling. Yeah, so I feel like the SWAC definitely has some competition and some very good players. So we're gonna have to be ready. I know we got a whole load of transfers and dudes from all over the country. So I think we'll be ready. We just got to put it together in jail.
So have you been to an HBCU game before?
I've been to an HBCU game when I was in like 6th or 7th grade. I went to the Classic. It was fun. It was cool. But the thing I guess I remember the most is the band. Everybody got live for the band, and it was a real cool thing. And it was a very nice experience for me. My whole family has attended HBCUs. They were all mainly like me. They attended a state school first for their undergraduate.
Okay.
And then for their masters, they went to HBCUs. So it's nice following in their footsteps.
And so lastly, I'm gonna ask you to give a message to Jackson State University football fans. Now I know the fan base is strong in the SEC, but I feel like the fan bases are even stronger when it comes to HBCU football. So James Houston, what's your message to JSU fans? What do you want them to know? What do you want the SWAC to know to look out for come fall?
Okay, so my message to JSU is be ready. It's time. We're flipping the switch, and it's going to probably be something that y'all never really experienced before. And we're going to need all of y'all support to help us and go through the whole journey with us. Support us. There's going to be ups and downs, but I think it's going to be a very good season. It's a historic season. And so just be ready. Be ready. We're coming out. We got the dogs.
Y'all got the dogs, and they definitely have another dog in James Houston. We're going to be looking out for what you do this fall. Of course, I'm now going to be looking closely into that pass coverage now that you brought it up, but I'm sure you're going to get it right and you're going to get it tight come fall.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Guys, I'm Simone Stanley, joined by James Houston, incoming linebacker for the Jackson State University Tigers. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, defense. We get it, right? Well, how about a little offense? Akil Glass, quarterback, Alabama A&M. He won all the awards. They won the spring championship in 2021. This guy has the arm. He has the pocket presence to translate to the next level.
At the top of the HBCU quarterback class is Alabama A&M's Akil Glass. And while he did throw those 3 picks to Jacoby Durant back in the spring, he also threw 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers for 28 straight points and a 31-7 road win.
What a pass and catch to Hilaire. That's going to be a 65-yard strike from Glass.
All while letting the hecklers know that he gonna take responsibility for them touchdowns, just like them picks. And after back-to-back Black College Player of the Year awards and a whole career full of breaking school records, then breaking them school records that he had just broke, Akil Glass fits the current NFL quarterback mold to a T. Big arm, good mobility, and all the production you could ever ask for in a college quarterback.
Glass fakes the handoff, throws inside, and it's a touchdown.
North Carolina A&T State University. We'll get a little Aggie pride out there in the atmosphere for you. I actually finished summer school and finished my college career in an Aggie classroom. That counts, right? Well, one thing that they're counting on this weekend is a phone call for Jermaine Martin. Now listen, last season, dealing with injuries wasn't the same Jermaine Martin that we saw in 2019. The one that finished out the Celebration Bowl in style. But getting back on track and returning to that magic could be something special for this Aggie running back.
For Jermaine Martin out of North Carolina A&T, even as a guy who's rushed for thousands of yards and dozens of touchdowns,
here he goes to the promised land. Jermaine Martin, give him 6.
He knows that nothing is given in the NFL and is prepared to show up to camp to do one thing. Work.
I'm coming to work every day. No days off. You know, I feel like you betting on me. I feel like I owe it to you. You know, so I feel like I'm gonna contribute everything that I can contribute. You know, A&T gave me my second chance. You know, I'm forever grateful. And I told them when I got there, you know, I'll give y'all everything I got. You know, every day. And that's what I did. So it'll be the same with the NFL team. You know, they give me my chance. You know, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna run with it. Not look back.
Jermaine Martin. That's what we expected. Martin in the clear and stepping out. Showtime! Gone!
And it's not cap when I tell you that a fully healthy Jermaine Martin is one of the best running backs in the draft, point blank, period.
And there he goes again, Jermaine Martin in for 6. And if you give Martin just a second and a seed, he's going to take it to the house.
I'm never at the ceiling, you know. I feel like I can always get better at something, you know. So when I get that phone call, it just be like a dream come true, you know. I've been playing this sport for a long time, and you know, this always been the goal. The day that I achieve that, you know, it'll just be a great feeling.
Now, these guys aren't the only ones, obviously, who have a shot of making it into the NFL. Now, a lot of the other guys, we caught up with them in Mobile, Alabama at the HBCU Combine. Wally Pitt introduces us to a few more guys looking for an opportunity.
This 2022 HBCU NFL draft class has players from every level that are getting looks from the league.
Corey Banks, North Carolina A&T wide receiver. Explosiveness, just put the ball in my hands, I can make plays.
Banks gonna get his money. Touchdown.
Shamar Bridges, wide receiver, Fort Valley State University. It's great, you know what I mean, to come out here to show that you belong, even with the bigger school guys. 50-50 guy, catch the ball, run routes, scout wiggle. I can be versatile with my size, so just really doing anything the team needs me to do, play special teams, and just line up and go to work, compete.
Be great on three. 1, 2, 3. Be great.
Ladarius Skelton.
A 15-yard pickup for Ladarius Skelton.
Southern University, receiver, quarterback.
Ladarius Skelton. Run pass option. He executed that to the T. Touchdown, Southern.
I'm an athlete. At the end of the day, I'm an athlete. I do whatever, versatile, QB, receiver, running back. If you show me the position and how to do it, I'm right behind you.
But don't sleep on them big boys up front either.
The handoff to Ben. Ben with daylight ahead of him. Touchdown, Devon Ben.
Jatiri Carter, the 6'5", 275-pound lineman from Southern University, has everybody's attention after his impressive pro day. And when I saw him out in Jackson back in the spring of 21, he was a straight-up bully in the trenches, leading that Southern run game to an impressive victory over Jackson State.
Leave no doubt, Devon Ben in for the touchdown.
Harper wide open. Room service. Touchdown.
Felix Harper, a.k.a. the Trigger Man, the Alcorn State gunslinger who parlayed a trial by fire as a backup into becoming a 2-time All-American, a 2-time SWAC champ, and the 2019 SWAC Player of the Year.
Felix Harper takes out his do-it-yourself kit.
And when I caught up with Trigger at the HBCU Combine, he let me know exactly why he's league ready.
Just doing the small things, just being more detailed, making sure that for my position, quarterback, you just knowing the game. I feel like the ins and outs, knowing coverages, knowing fronts, knowing what everybody got. Of course, being a leader, that comes with the position, just leading by example, man. I feel like that carries how you are as a person on and off the field. It's bigger than just you being a leader for the team, it's for that organization as well.
And I can tell you what, there's not a happier guy than Felix Harper. He's coming out here, he's trying to showcase to the world that he is a baller.
I've been playing football since the age of 6. I love the game, I know the ins and outs. It's just, it made me who I am. Like, football is my passion.
Now, the wild card in the 2022 HBCU quarterback class might be Jawan Carter. But over here, we just call him Pootie.
Oh, wow. Great pass protection, one-on-one coverage, beautiful pass.
Norfolk State University's all-time leader in completions, yardage, and touchdowns, Pootie Carter has never met a challenge he wasn't ready to take down.
I'm a competitor. I like to compete more than anything. Extremely high level of competition. Anything I do, I'm going to compete in. If we can race to the car, I'm going to compete. Just anything, I'm going to compete.
Quarterback keeps it. Quarterback keeps it. Quarterback gets in the end zone.
Whatever you need me to do, I feel the cooler up, whatever you need me to do, just the competition level is high. And that's what I bring.
So while we're here on our pre-draft special, let's go back and look at some of the special games from the past couple of years that really helped put these guys on that big stage where they could show exactly what they could do in prime time. Let's go back to the Magic City Classic Spring Edition. It was still Alabama State. It was still Alabama A&M. We were working our way through the pandemic, and Akil Glass was working his way through that Hornet defense. 375 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Magic City Spring Classic. It's not the classic, but glad to be here, so let's get it on. Alabama State's Ezra Gray, watch him work. Hits the hole, gets to the outside. He crosses midfield for the first down. Ryan Nettles fakes the handoff down to the 1-inch line, but he's poked in the eye on the play. He stays in the game, but more on that poke a little later. Next play, Ja'Cory Merritt for ASU. He's in for the score, 7-0 Hornets. Akil Glass looking, and he's sacked. Down he goes. but the drive stays alive. Gary Quarles for A&M picks up where he left off last week against Jackson State, bounces through the hole, takes a few with him. He's in for the score, tied at 7. All right, the story on Nettles, poked in the eye, had some swelling, he would not return. His replacement, Chris Scott, he's got a nice fastball. He finds Michael Jefferson. Alabama State up 14-7. A&M goes back to who else? No Quarles with Quarles. 15-yard touchdown run. We are tied at 14. If you want to crown him, then crown him. Shout out Denny Green. Seconds before the half ends. We're in the second quarter here. Special teams make a play. The punt deflected. Goes out of bounds around the 30-yard line. 3 seconds left on the clock. A&M needs 46 yards. They got about 46 and a half on the field goal. Spencer Corey gets the big piece of chicken at halftime. Limited capacity crowd in Birmingham. Thinking about how many people are there, but a part of history if you were one of the lucky ones to get in the Spring Classic. Third quarter. Is Wayne Brady going to have to... wrong show. Is Aqeel Glass going to have to truck somebody out here? He does. But a penalty would back A&M up, but never mind. The strength of Glass, his arm, lets it fly from midfield. Puts the biscuit in the basket in stride. Zabrion Moore, give me some more. 24-14 A&M. The play of the game, in my opinion. Glass. Am I going here? Nope. Okay, maybe here. I'm going here. Over the top. The cannon unleashed. And here comes the dance in 3, 2, hit the dance. All right, I'm good, Mr. Official. I'm good. Until we get back to the sidelines. A&M rolling at that point, 31-14. Chris Scott, good arm, but not quite the escapability of Nettles. He goes down on the sack. One more for good measure. In the fourth quarter, Glass to Aidu Hilaire. 372 yards passing for Glass in the Magic City Classic, 45 yards rushing. Straight fire. The Magic is on the side of Connell Maynard and the crew. Alabama A&M goes from can we get some run? Will anyone play us? To SWAC Eastern Division champions.
And while we're on the subject of Aqeel Glass and quarterbacks, how about we go in the Wayback Machine and revisit the year 1995? What was special about that year? Yeah, that draft was the year that Steve Air McNair was selected 3rd overall in the first round by the Houston Oilers. Let's revisit his training camp. Couple of preseason games under his belt, he was on the verge of becoming a star.
Last year, a week wouldn't pass without hearing about Steve Air McNair. That all changed this year after signing a 7-year, $28 million contract. McNair is looked at as the future of the Houston Oilers.
Steve is going to be, in our eyes, a franchise player, a franchise quarterback, one that's going to win many football games and lead us to a championship.
The Oilers plan on giving McNair only limited playing time this season. They want to bring him along slowly so he can become familiar with the pro set offense.
This offense is very, sophisticated. It just take a lot of time and a lot of effort out of me and a lot of dedication to get it down packed. And with the time that we have, I think I can do that.
Offensive coordinator Jerry Rome has made a career of developing young quarterbacks like Doug Williams, Joe Theismann, and Troy Aikman. With McNair's talent, he's not far from being one of the league's best quarterbacks.
He has no limitations. You take a quarterback that does not have a lot of mobility. You take a quarterback that doesn't have the size, and you know that somewhere along the line you're going to be a little restricted. But with a guy like Steve, you can do anything you want to with your offense.
McNair saw limited action in the first 2 preseason games, completing 4 of 8 passes for 54 yards. With an injury-prone starter, subpar performances from his backup, it won't be long before McNair makes his NFL debut, but only time will tell how soon. In Houston for Black College Sports Today, I'm Joe Gleason.
1995. That was a pretty good year. How old were you in 95? What were you doing? I know some of you guys out there weren't even born. Man, 95, Steve McNair, what a legacy. All right, let's go back to the not so distant future. James Houston, he was making that big impact early on at Jackson State. But how about that game at Alabama A&M, the Bulldogs' homecoming? Whew. Houston and Jackson State put on a show.
Alabama A&M versus Jackson State was advertised as the HBCU football game of the year.
Showtime in there, showtime every time we touch the field, man.
A dirty South homecoming showdown between the SWAC spring champs and Coach Prime's pack of 4- and 5-star dogs from Jackson State. And Normal, Alabama had the George Jones Tailgate Plaza extra litty. The grills were smoking and the vibes at my first ever SWAC homecoming were precisely as advertised.
They ready to come up off here. We gonna get it right, baby. They ready to come up off here. You see that right here? Hey, they ready. He said, what's up? He said, what's up?
But once I got on the field, all that homecoming love turned into animosity. As the Tigers and Bulldogs let it be known that this game right here
Welcome to the hill. It's finna get real. It's finna get real.
was about to be all-out war.
This is a war. Right, this is now. 1, 2, 3.
And the sonic boom of the South plus the maroon and white band blessed us with the soundtrack for the second most attended game in Alabama A&M history. But once that thing got kicked off, what we thought would be a back and forth shootout between two of the SWAC's best turned into a showcase of how dominant the Coach Prime era Jackson State Tigers can really be. And I heard somebody in the parking lot after the game say that Jackson State turned the Alabama A&M homecoming into a home gun. And the defense was out there setting the tone early, putting paws on the SWAC Spring Player of the Year, Keel Glass, every chance they got. James Houston in his bag early with a forced fumble recovery for a touchdown. And if you had any old tweets about Shedeur Sanders not being that dude, you needed to go scrub them Jones off the internet by halftime. Shedeur Sanders finding Josh Lanier wide booty butt naked open for 6 in the first quarter. Later in the second, Showtime Shedeur Sanders to Javante Rucker, 37 yards, and it's 26-7 in the second quarter. And shout out to the boy Warren Newman. Coach Prime said he couldn't out-recruit him, and he came out the tunnel ready to make plays. Here he takes a lick on the 12-yard touchdown catch with seconds before halftime to put JSU up 33-7 at the break. And everything was put on pause for a special moment at the half as Alabama A&M and Omega Psi Phi honored their fallen brother Jelani Day. Rest in power to Mr. Day from everybody at HBCU Game Day. And while the bands did go back and forth at halftime, Jackson State went right back to showing the HBCU football world that they built this. Shedeur Sanders making plays in the air. Shedeur Sanders, making plays on the ground. He takes this one 29 yards back to parlay at the Apartments, then messed around and hit the 93 prime dance on us. 17-24 passing, 249 yards, 5 total touchdowns. Showtime Shedeur showed out in Alabama as the freshman phenom made sure that everyone put some respect on his and his Pop's name.
When you disrespect Pops, what you expect gonna happen? When you disrespect D-Man, the greatest ever, that's what's gonna happen.
And while Alabama A&M has to go back to the drawing board after a 2-game losing streak, Akil Glass did throw a couple of touchdown passes en route to a near 300-yard day. But it was a humble homecoming for the Bulldogs as they lose to Jackson State 61-15. Putting the in prime position to control the SWAC East heading into the thicker conference play.
Yeah, man, y'all know what we do, man. Look at the score. I don't even gotta say nothing today, man. Look at the score. Y'all know what it is, man. Bitch, you want to head against you. Man, great, good victory out here with the team. Came in to another team homecoming. Took they, all in all, good win. You know, we on to the next one, you know what I'm saying? They said this was the biggest game, but guess what? Next week gonna be the biggest game, you know what I'm saying? That's what we do, man. We gonna take over the SWAC.
They asked for it.
Ain't nothing new.
Go to Twitter with that.
And while the internet's got their jokes off last week about Coach Maynard talking about Coach Prime Scooter, he showed that in the SWAC, turnabout is always fair play, as Deion Sanders left an autographed pink scooter at midfield for Coach Maynard. And as usual, Coach Prime told it like he felt it during postgame, as he and Jackson State continue to quiet the haters almost every time they take the field.
Coach, final score 61-15.
Hello? We wanted to make sure every light on the scoreboard works.
Jermaine Martin, we talked about him earlier in the show and how he went out in style, leaving the MEAC, the 2019 Celebration Bowl against Alcorn State. Let's go back to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Jermaine Magic on the field.
It all comes down to this. Celebration Bowl 5. No more tweets, no more talking. We got Alcorn versus A&T, and both teams were teed, ready to brawl for it all in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And the Braves and the Aggies blew the roof off this mother like Parliament. How many points they score? A lot. First quarter, Carter DeBell over the shoulder like little Michael Jackson in the studio with Barry Gordy. He tops it off with the LeBron chalk toss. That's a whole lot of GOAT business right there. Alcorn right back though. Felix Harper to Chris Blair, 36 yards and it's 10-7 Braves. But don't blink. Zachary Leslie gets a 56-yard score. Then Corey Banks gets one from 4 yards out, and it's 24-10 Aggies at the break. And this halftime really wasn't a break at all. The sounds of dynamite and the blue and gold marching machine went crazy. Now the third quarter had so many points, I'ma just roll them off for you. Jermaine Martin, 75 yards through the tunnel, 31-10. Felix Harper, 6-yard run, 31-17. Khalil Carter to Ron Hunt, 38-17. Deshaun Waller, 23 yards. Elijah Bell gets another 20-yard score, plus a step over. That makes it 45-24, and the Aggie fans done brought their own championship belt to the A. All in all, it was 49 points scored in the third quarter alone, and it's 52-31 going into the fourth. This one was a final scene of Scarface-type shootout. Alcorn was able to cut the deficit down to 14 points in the fourth, but them dogs was just too much. A&T wins 64-44, most points in Celebration Bowl history, an Aggie three-peat, and if you didn't know, you can't spell Atlanta without A-N-T.
You can't spell Atlanta without A&T.
You can't spell Atlanta without A&T.
When my boys come back next year,
you know what's up. You can't spell Atlanta without A&T.
I said last year.
You said it last year.
It's the Aggie Bowl. Ain't no celebration no more.
You heard what he said now.
This ain't no fluke anymore.
It ain't a fluke.
That's 3 in a row. Yes, sir. Repeat. Yes, sir. 3rd in a row. Oh, hey, I got 5 here, baby. I got about 6 on there. How many? How many? You got 8. I got 6. How many? I got 6. How many? I can't even count. I got 6. I feel like Jordan.
Hey, no cap. No cap. We're supposed to be here, best team in HBCU football, and we showed that today. It's a blessing to be here. I wanted to go over my guys that came off for me, and just turn around and look at them, man. They're happy, and actually proud to have you. O-line played great today, and we just had to play our best game all year, so I'm glad to be a part of it.
Dream come true, you know what I'm saying? Everybody dreams of playing a championship, and being able to play in 3 in a row and winning all 3, man, that's a blessing.
Well, you know how we do it at HBCU games, man.
Up. You know what time it is.
Hey, came out here, did it again. After doing it again, after doing it again. That's a 3-3.
Well, the time is here. All weekend long, starting on Thursday night. We'll make it a long weekend. It's the NFL Draft. How many? We are claiming multiple. How many of our players are going to get drafted this weekend and receive that phone call that changes their lives? Now, we all hope that they do get drafted, many of those guys, because there is a pay scale to this, right? But it's not the only path into pro football. Undrafted free agents, as soon as the draft is over, a lot of phones are going to start ringing. People are going to be invited to camps. They're going to get an opportunity that way. Look, half of the NFL comprises of undrafted free agents. So it is a viable path to get in that way. You never know where that star will be born. We only hope that it gets on the stage, the biggest stage in pro football, and they get a chance to shine because they have definitely put in the work. We'll be watching. Stay with us all weekend long. They get the call. We'll have the story at HBCUGameDay.com. I'm Tolly Carr from Atlanta. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Enjoy the draft. We'll talk to you soon.